Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond to that. I want to start, though, with discussions about the rescission memo that you sent on June 3rd. It seeks to eliminate $8.3 million in foreign aid. Some of the examples that I saw in that were $5.1 million to strengthen the, quote, resiliency of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, and queer global movements, $833,000 for services for transgender people, sex workers, and their clients for sexual networks in Nepal. I saw $4.6 million for social inclusion, $18 million for improving gender diversity in the Mexican street lighting industry. I could go on and on and on. Look, when Americans work hard and they send their tax dollars here to Washington, D.C., we have a responsibility to use those wisely. It is my belief that Americans have a deep desire to help people all across this globe, help people that are in need. But I don't think anyone expects us to have an ideology that has been driven into these dollars that we are trying to push all across the country, and that is exactly what this is doing. And when we look at this, the dollars that I know Americans care about are feeding hungry children, making sure that we don't have disease spread across the globe. And I have heard you and this administration say that you are committed to that. So I want to give you just a minute to respond to my colleagues' comments and also talk about what programs you're putting in place and how you're ensuring that we can still, as the chair mentioned earlier, know the importance of soft power and know that if there is a void or a vacuum left, it will be filled, but it'll be filled by people that we do not like. And so I think Americans have a deep desire to help, a deep desire to do, but absolutely no one is sending their tax dollars to move forward a liberal ideology across the globe. So can you respond to that?
Yes, thank you, Senator. I think it's a great opportunity to just articulate, and also in conjunction with Senator McConnell's question, this is not a fade on soft power. This is a fade on waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's a fade on the extent to which it's not just wasteful. It's not just wasteful to the taxpayer. It's bad foreign policy. When you're going into countries and you are putting forward the types of nonprofits that are destabilizing to those countries and those cultures, what is their opinion of the American government? What is their opinion of the American people? So we're in the midst of a foreign assistance review. It's ongoing. It's being led by Secretary of State and myself, and we're going line by line in each one of these programs to articulate where we believe soft power could be effective, where we think that investment on the front end will keep us out of long-term hard power conflicts of that nature. And I think that will be a very revealing review, and we look forward to bringing it up and sharing it at the appropriate time.
And you are committed to continuing to make sure where there is need and it is appropriate that we are working to help those across the globe.
Absolutely, yes, Senator.
Thank you so much, Director. In my few remaining minutes or seconds, so to speak, I want to take this opportunity to talk about something that is timely right now. And I would be remiss if having you in front of me wouldn't talk about it, and that's work requirements. So if you're looking at the impact of work requirements on the federal budget, I believe if you're an able-bodied, working-aged American without dependents, you should be working, training, volunteering, being educated at least 20 hours a week in order to receive government benefits. I don't believe that's too much to ask. You're not taking anyone out of retirement. You're not taking anyone off of disability. You're not taking anyone out of the home. Our labor participation rate in this country is 62.4%. Alabama, unfortunately, is 5 points lower than that. Except for President Trump's first term, our labor force participation has consistently fallen since the year 2000. Director Vought, do you think it's too much to ask able-bodied, working-aged Americans without dependents at home to work 20 hours a week in order to receive government benefits?
No, absolutely not. It's, I think, a foundational principle that we should apply wherever we possibly can. We started to do this in the late 1990s with bipartisan historic welfare reform. And I think the American people probably thought at the time that we were doing it for the entirety of the federal government. We were just doing it at that time for TANF. for cash welfare benefits. But we have tried to do this in Medicaid before. In the first term, we had several regulatory proposals, and we needed statute to do it. And so it is incredible for the dignity of work to get people back into the
The
workforce.
dignity of work, and in my remaining few seconds, moving 4 million people, able-bodied, from welfare to work would boost the economy $149 billion. It would increase Social Security and Medicare revenues $89 billion. When you see the insolvency of Social Security and Medicare within 8 years, we know we must do something. I think the boost to the economy and the dignity that it provides individuals being part of something bigger than themselves would have a tremendous impact on this nation. Thank you.